Life often feels overwhelming, doesn't it? We're constantly bombarded with distractions, frustrations, and the pressure to keep up with everyone around us. But what if I told you that the key to a better life doesn't lie in fighting harder, working longer, or trying to control every little thing? The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, taught us that the true path to peace and fulfillment comes from within. In this video, we're going to explore 9 powerful rules from Marcus Aurelius that can help you regain control, stay calm in the chaos, and live a life of purpose. These timeless principles are more than just ancient wisdom. They're practical lessons you can apply right now to make your life better. Let's dive in. The first rule Marcus Aurelius offers us is to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. In life, it's easy to get caught up in the things that happen around us, how people treat us, the circumstances we find ourselves in, and the things we wish would go differently. But the Stoics understood that our power lies in our ability to control only one thing, our own reactions. Everything else is outside of our control. When you spend energy trying to change things you can't control, you create unnecessary frustration and stress. The weather, other people's actions, or situations that are beyond your reach, these things are all part of life, and you cannot alter them. But what you can control is how you respond. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly reminded himself that it's not the events themselves that trouble us, but our perception of them. By accepting that we can't control the actions of others or the course of events, we free ourselves from anxiety and frustration. This principle applies to every aspect of life. Whether you're facing a challenging boss, a difficult relationship, or a stressful situation, ask yourself, what can I control here? It's not about being passive, it's about recognizing where your energy is best spent. If you're in a difficult conversation, for example, focus on staying calm, being respectful, and maintaining your integrity. If you're faced with a setback, choose to respond with patience and a positive attitude. The key is not to get lost in things that you cannot change. When you learn to focus only on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and responses, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and begin to live more peacefully. The second rule Marcus Aurelius offers is the power of acceptance. Life is full of things we don't want, things that are out of our hands, and events that challenge our patience. Instead of fighting against them, the Stoic practice is to accept what happens as part of the natural order. The truth is, there's little we can do about most of life's unexpected twists. The sooner we accept this, the sooner we free ourselves from the tension that arises when things don't go as planned. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that whatever happens is not the problem. It's our judgment of it. If we react with frustration, we add to the burden of the situation. If we accept it, we can move forward and find the lesson or the opportunity within it. He saw every experience, even the most painful, as an opportunity to practice virtue. Whether it's a disappointment, a failure, or an unexpected obstacle, acceptance allows us to remain grounded. When you face adversity, ask yourself, how can I use this moment to grow? Instead of wishing things were different, think about what the situation is teaching you. Maybe it's patience, resilience, or learning to adapt. Embrace the challenges as opportunities to practice Stoic virtues like wisdom, courage, and self-discipline. By accepting the reality of what is happening, you gain the strength to move through it, learn from it, and ultimately become stronger. Life will always present us with the unexpected, but how we respond makes all the difference. In the end, it's not about controlling what happens to us, but accepting it with grace and choosing how we will move forward. The third rule Marcus Aurelius emphasizes is the importance of maintaining inner peace amidst external chaos. The world is unpredictable, and life constantly presents us with challenges, stressful situations at work, conflict in relationships, and unexpected setbacks. However, Marcus teaches us that while we cannot control the chaos around us, we can control our response to it. Our inner peace is ours to protect, and it's up to us to decide whether we allow external circumstances to disturb it. In his meditations, Marcus reflects on how he must remain steady and composed, no matter what the world throws his way. He reminds himself that the disturbance of the mind is not caused by external events, but by our own reactions to those events. This idea can be transformative. If we approach life with the understanding that external chaos is inevitable, but that we can choose our response, we begin to see that true power lies in maintaining composure. When you encounter difficult moments, ask yourself, how can I remain calm and centered in this situation? Instead of immediately reacting with anger, frustration, or stress, practice pausing. Take a breath, detach from the emotions of the moment, and respond with clarity and reason. Marcus Aurelius would advise us to remind ourselves that peace comes from within, and no matter how chaotic life becomes, we hold the power to remain calm. When we master our inner peace, we become unshakable. External forces can only disturb us if we allow them to. The Stoic path isn't about avoiding conflict or adversity, but about facing it with a calm mind and a steady heart. The fourth rule Marcus Aurelius teaches us is to cultivate gratitude, even in the face of life's challenges. It's easy to be thankful when things are going well, but true Stoic strength comes from being able to find gratitude in adversity. Marcus understood that the obstacles and difficulties we face are not merely setbacks, but opportunities to practice and strengthen our virtues. Instead of seeing hardship as something to be avoided or resented, he encouraged us to embrace it as part of the natural order of things. In his meditations, Marcus reflects on how each challenge is a chance to grow stronger, more resilient, and wiser. Life isn't about avoiding difficulty, it's about learning how to handle it with grace. When faced with difficulties, rather than asking, "Why me?" the Stoic asks, "What can I learn from this?" Gratitude in this sense isn't about being thankful for the pain itself, but for the opportunity to develop virtues like patience, perseverance, and wisdom through the experience. Whenever you encounter hardship, try to shift your perspective. Instead of focusing on the frustration or the unfairness of the situation, ask yourself how this challenge is helping you become a better person. Is it teaching you patience? Is it helping you develop resilience? Maybe it's giving you the chance to practice kindness or humility. Every difficult moment can be seen as a stepping stone to greater strength, if you choose to view it that way. Marcus Aurelius believed that the quality of our lives is determined not by what happens to us, but by how we respond. Gratitude, therefore, is a choice to find value in every experience, good or bad, and to use it as fuel for personal growth. And the fifth rule Marcus Aurelius imparts is the importance of self-reflection. In the quiet moments of the day, Marcus would often turn inward, reflecting on his actions, thoughts, and behavior. He recognized that without self-awareness, we cannot hope to grow or improve. Self-reflection is essential to understanding where we've acted in alignment with our values and where we've strayed. By reflecting on our actions, we gain the clarity to make better choices moving forward. Marcus believed that to live a virtuous life, we must examine our decisions regularly, asking ourselves whether we've lived with integrity, kindness, and wisdom. In his meditations, he often acknowledged his own shortcomings and used them as an opportunity to learn and adjust his behavior. Self-reflection for him was not about self-criticism, but about seeing ourselves clearly, without illusion, so that we could improve. In your own life, try to take a few minutes at the end of each day to reflect on your actions. Think about your interactions with others. Were they kind? Were they true to your values? Consider your thoughts and emotions. Did they align with your goals for peace and personal growth? By regularly evaluating yourself, you create a constant feedback loop that helps you improve. Marcus Aurelius often wrote that the key to living well is to constantly check our actions against our ideals. This is the essence of self-mastery, knowing who you are, recognizing where you've fallen short, and striving to do better tomorrow. Through this practice, you will develop greater self-awareness, clarity, and ultimately, a more purposeful life. The sixth rule Marcus Aurelius emphasizes is the importance of focusing on the present moment. So often we find ourselves either dwelling on the past or anxiously anticipating the future, both of which pull us away from the reality of the here and now. Marcus, in his meditations, frequently reminded himself to stay focused on the present because it is the only time we truly have. The past is gone, and the future has not yet arrived. The present is where our power lies, where we can take action and where we can make a difference in our own lives. Many of us waste energy ruminating on past mistakes or worrying about what might go wrong in the future. This constant distraction steals our peace and prevents us from fully engaging with what is happening right in front of us. Marcus Aurelius would reflect on how our tendency to fixate on the past or future keeps us from fully living in the moment, where our thoughts and actions can have the greatest impact. When you feel yourself being pulled away from the present, take a moment to pause and return to the here and now. Instead of focusing on what went wrong yesterday or what might happen tomorrow, focus on the task at hand. Whether you're working, spending time with family, or simply walking down the street, commit fully to that moment. This is where you can make the most progress, develop the most gratitude, and experience peace. As Marcus Aurelius put it, the present moment is all we have. By focusing on the present, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and open the door to true contentment. Embrace what is now, for this is where life truly happens. The seventh rule Marcus Aurelius teaches is to live in accordance with nature. To the Stoics, living according to nature meant aligning ourselves with the natural order of the world, understanding that everything has its place and purpose. For Marcus, this meant accepting the flow of life, understanding that challenges and setbacks are part of the greater rhythm of existence. Nature is not something to fight against, but something to accept and work with. By aligning ourselves with nature, we find peace, clarity, and strength, because we are no longer in conflict with the world around us. Living according to nature also involves understanding that everything is temporary. The people we meet, the work we do, and even the things we hold dear are all part of a larger cycle. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself of the impermanence of life and the futility of clinging to things that are bound to change. This awareness of life's transience encourages us to live more fully and intentionally without becoming too attached to outcomes or possessions. To live according to nature, we must also understand the importance of acting with virtue and purpose. Marcus Aurelius saw our role in life as being part of a greater whole. Our actions should reflect wisdom, justice, and integrity. When we act in line with these virtues, we align ourselves with nature's order and become more harmonious with the world around us. Instead of resisting the challenges we face, we embrace them as opportunities to grow and live virtuously. By accepting what we cannot change and focusing on what we can control, our character and our actions, we begin to live more in harmony with the natural world. This is where true fulfillment lies, not in fighting against the tide, but in accepting the flow of life and aligning our actions with its natural rhythm. The eighth rule Marcus Aurelius emphasizes is the power of resilience. Life is not without its difficulties, and challenges are an inevitable part of the human experience. However, Marcus teaches us that resilience is a key to navigating these challenges. Resilience is the ability to withstand adversity without losing your sense of purpose or integrity. For Marcus, every difficulty, every hardship is an opportunity to practice strength of character. Instead of allowing setbacks to defeat us, we can use them as tools for growth. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that he would face obstacles in his life, but it was not the obstacles themselves that mattered, it was how he chose to respond. He didn't see difficulty as something to avoid, but as a natural part of the human condition. Each challenge was an opportunity to show virtue, to build strength, and to deepen his wisdom. The Stoic view is that we do not become stronger by avoiding challenges, but by confronting them head-on with courage, patience, and wisdom. In your own life, think about the challenges you're currently facing. How are you responding to them? Do you see them as insurmountable barriers, or do you view them as opportunities to cultivate resilience? Resilience doesn't mean that we won't feel pain, frustration, or disappointment. It means that we choose not to let those emotions control us. We accept the hardship, learn from it, and move forward with a stronger resolve. Marcus Aurelius saw every difficulty as an invitation to practice endurance and patience, to show himself and the world that he was capable of enduring whatever came his way. This Stoic resilience allows us to maintain our sense of peace, even in the most difficult of times, and to face life's challenges with calm and strength. The ninth rule Marcus Aurelius emphasizes is the importance of perspective. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is that our experience of life is shaped by how we perceive it. The events themselves, whether positive or negative, are neutral until we attach meaning to them. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that it was not the things themselves that upset him, but his judgment of them. By changing our perspective, we can change how we experience the world around us. For example, when faced with a challenging situation, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeing it as something to be avoided or feared. But Marcus Aurelius teaches us to step back and view the situation from a different angle. Perhaps it is an opportunity for growth, an occasion to practice patience, or a chance to strengthen our character. Instead of seeing a difficult person or an uncomfortable situation as a threat, we can choose to see it as a natural part of life's rhythm, something that can help us become better, stronger, and more virtuous. One way to shift perspective is to ask yourself, how can I see this differently? Instead of focusing on the frustration or disappointment, try to find the lesson or opportunity that may lie within it. Marcus Aurelius often encouraged himself to take a step back and view life with a broader, more objective lens. By changing how we interpret events, we can reduce their power to upset us and instead approach them with equanimity and calm. This shift in perspective can be transformative, as it allows us to embrace challenges with a sense of curiosity and purpose rather than resistance or fear. By practicing this Stoic principle, we learn to accept life as it is and focus our energy on how we respond, rather than getting caught up in external events beyond our control. The 10th rule Marcus Aurelius imparts is to pursue virtue above all else. For Stoics, virtue is the highest good, and everything else, wealth, fame, pleasure, is secondary. Marcus Aurelius believed that living a virtuous life, one based on wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, is the path to true fulfillment. He often reminded himself that the external world, with all its distractions, is fleeting, but virtue is eternal. It is not influenced by external circumstances, and it cannot be taken away by others. The pursuit of virtue, therefore, is the foundation of a well-lived life. In his meditations, Marcus often reflected on how he could be a better person in every moment, how he could show more kindness, more wisdom, more self-control. He understood that true happiness and peace come not from acquiring external things, but from cultivating an inner life rooted in virtue. When you focus on living virtuously, external events lose their power over your emotions. You no longer seek validation from others or rely on fleeting pleasures to feel fulfilled. Instead, you turn inward, focusing on your character and your actions. To pursue virtue is to focus on the quality of your actions, not the outcomes. It's about acting with integrity, showing kindness to others, exercising self-discipline, and seeking wisdom in all that you do. Marcus Aurelius saw every interaction, every decision as an opportunity to practice virtue. It's not about achieving perfection, but about continually striving to align your actions with your deepest values. When you prioritize virtue, you align yourself with what is truly important, and everything else falls into place. Pursuing virtue means living with purpose and intention, knowing that this is the only path to lasting peace and fulfillment. The 11th rule Marcus Aurelius emphasizes is the value of wisdom over emotions. In a world full of distractions and emotional triggers, it is easy to be swept away by our feelings. However, Marcus Aurelius teaches us that emotions, while natural, should not control our actions. Instead, wisdom, guided by reason, should be our guide. He believed that the ability to respond to life's challenges with calm, thoughtful consideration was the path to true strength. When we let our emotions dictate our actions, we risk acting impulsively, which often leads to regret and unnecessary suffering. For Marcus, wisdom wasn't just about knowledge, it was about applying that knowledge in every aspect of life. It was about learning to see situations clearly, without the cloud of emotion distorting our judgment. He often reminded himself to stay rooted in reason, particularly in the face of adversity when emotions are most likely to take over. Whether it was dealing with anger, fear, or frustration, Marcus would reflect on how wisdom could guide him through the storm of emotions. In our own lives, we can follow Marcus's example by pausing before reacting, taking a step back to assess the situation logically. When you feel overwhelmed by emotion, ask yourself, what is the wisest response here? This practice doesn't mean suppressing emotions, but rather acknowledging them without letting them drive your decisions. It's about making decisions based on what aligns with your values and long-term goals, not just how you feel in the moment. Wisdom allows us to navigate life with clarity, calm, and control, helping us to make better decisions and build a life of integrity. When we choose wisdom over emotion, we move closer to living a Stoic life, one that is grounded in reason, balanced in thought, and steady in action. The 12th rule Marcus Aurelius emphasizes is to be mindful of your relationships. In Stoicism, relationships are seen as a natural part of life, but they are not to be driven by emotional dependency or attachment. Instead, Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the key to harmonious relationships lies in treating others with respect, kindness, and understanding, without expecting anything in return. The Stoics believed that our interactions with others should be governed by virtue, not by the desire for validation or approval. Marcus understood that everyone is on their own journey, and not all people will align with our values or treat us in ways that we hope for. However, he practiced accepting people as they are, recognizing that their actions and attitudes are often shaped by their own experiences and circumstances. In his meditations, he would often reflect on how to approach others with compassion, not expecting them to meet his personal needs, but instead aiming to contribute positively to their lives. In your own relationships, try to focus on the virtues that you can bring to the table: patience, understanding, and support, rather than seeking to change or control others. Practice seeing people for who they truly are, not through the lens of your expectations or desires. This doesn't mean you have to tolerate mistreatment or allow toxic individuals into your life. It means accepting others for their imperfections while maintaining your own sense of peace and self-respect. Healthy relationships, from a Stoic perspective, are those where both parties grow and support one another without the need for manipulation or dependency. Marcus Aurelius believed that by focusing on virtue in our relationships, we become more understanding and less frustrated when others do not act according to our desires. This approach leads to a deeper, more meaningful connection with others, built on respect and shared values. The 13th rule Marcus Aurelius imparts is to accept death as a natural part of life. For the Stoics, death is not something to fear, but something to accept with understanding and grace. Marcus Aurelius frequently reflected on the inevitability of death, reminding himself that life is fleeting and we must live fully while we can. In his meditations, he acknowledged that we are all born to die and that our time on earth is limited. The wisdom in accepting this truth lies in the ability to focus on what really matters, living a virtuous, purposeful life, regardless of how long or short it may be. Marcus believed that our fear of death often distracts us from truly living. By confronting mortality, we are freed from the paralyzing fear of the unknown. Instead of allowing the thought of death to discourage us, Marcus encouraged us to use it as a motivator to live well. When we accept that we cannot escape death, we begin to prioritize the things that matter most: love, kindness, wisdom, and integrity, knowing that these are the things that leave a lasting impact, not wealth or fame. Accepting death also helps us live more fully. It encourages us to act with urgency, to make the most of our time, and to engage deeply in life's experiences. The knowledge that our time is limited inspires us to focus on what we can control, our actions and choices, while letting go of the things beyond our control. Death, in Stoicism, is not seen as an end, but as part of the natural cycle. By accepting death, we also embrace life with greater clarity, purpose, and courage, knowing that every moment is precious. This acceptance allows us to live more freely, without the fear of what is inevitable, and to spend our time on earth in alignment with our highest values. If you want to live a life that is more focused, peaceful, and in line with your true values, start incorporating these Stoic rules into your daily routine. Reflect on what you can control, embrace challenges as opportunities, and always prioritize virtue over external distractions. By applying these teachings, you can build a stronger, more resilient mind and live a life of purpose and fulfillment. If you found these lessons from Marcus Aurelius helpful, consider subscribing for more insights on Stoic philosophy and practical ways to live a better life.